Okay, this is for the new pilots class, March 6th, 2018. We had this word to be taken aback, to be caught off guard, to be shocked, to be surprised. When I saw that, I was shocked. I was kind of taken aback. Now, this is for 당황하다. Now, you could say it was an embarrassing situation. That's okay. But usually that's because somebody did something wrong, usually. Or I was embarrassed, right? Or everybody's looking at you. But more common is this. Right? Now, this is Do Young's. He also talked about this. He said, should we continue with the trip or should they keep going? Should they cancel the flight or continue on with the flight? Because he's talking about the Delta, the guy flew by himself, or he got on a plane and he realized he was the only passenger. He flew alone. Why Delta did that? They were flying from Louisiana back to Atlanta, and Atlanta's their hub, so it didn't cost the airline anything. Anyway, have the passengers sit down, make the passengers sit down, get the passengers to sit down. Again, have is more polite. Everyone, please have a seat. Make, do it, sit down. Get, it's kind of like coax or lull them. Come on, guys. Hey, let's have a seat, okay? We also talked about real conversation doesn't fit neatly into a box. If you have the TOEIC test or TOEIC listening, it's written by somebody who makes the test. Somebody sits in a room and writes out questions and conversations, so it doesn't feel natural. Real conversations can be pretty messy. That's why language that is written down or in a form is different than what you hear when people are speaking. Yeah, I'm reading that, which is what it's written. But I think spoken language, it disappears as soon as you hear it. Spoken language shows sentences through stress and intonation. It's connected speech. It's incomplete sometimes. You look at body language, facial gestures. There's many interruptions, right? It uses general vocabulary. This is why I think that a person studying a language, like I'm an American, I go to Nebraska and I study Chinese, I never meet a Chinese person, or the Chinese guy in China studying alone, they're never going to have that, they're never going to hear all these things if they just study the written form. Really, they need to interact and talk to people. Slow up is faster. I'm sorry. Now, fudge. You guys still watching? This one here, slow up. Whoa, like on a horse. Slow down's like on a car. All right. He went from hero to zero. Hero to zero. He was a hero? No, now he's a zero. That Dr. Huang, the guy in 2009 from Seoul National University who was studying genetics, he was a hero. Then he became a zero. Very informal again. Keep your fingers crossed. Yeah, we're going to try for it. We're going to try it, but let's keep our fingers crossed. Two meanings. One is for that's good luck. The other is like you cross your fingers and you put your hand behind your back, like you tell your girlfriend, "Hey, I'm just going to drink one beer."
I'll beg to differ,
Again,
sir.
I beg to differ. This is very polite or formal for I disagree. I say it's more formal. But here's an example from Tombstone.
I'll beg to differ, sir.
Hello. That's Doc Holliday. He's a gentleman, speaks very politely. You also hear it in Game of Thrones. Tattletale. Rat on, rat out is more like, for somebody goes to prison or you lose your job. Tattletale is more for kids. The Banjangnim came to class because he left and came back. And I said, oh, look who's back. Speak of the devil and he will appear. Now, I said this incorrectly. I thought about this later because I said che and then do, but it's horing do che. Now, I said it like I said it incorrectly here, but that's okay. I'm going to practice it and get it. A lopsided aircraft, it's not even, it's not balanced. You can also have someone with a lopsided face, his eye is up here. There was a lull in the conversation, right? There was a lull in the storm. There was a lull in the fighting, and so I ran for cover. There's like a lot of machine guns. But then it dies down, And it starts again. Oh, 자장가, I hope I got this right. Sing a lullaby, or the noun is just a lullaby. All right. Jim also today talked about, you heard these things, keep your wits about you. I said that in the video interview with Jim. Keep your head straight. I also said that. That's another one. Hey, when you're in a stressful situation, you got to keep your head straight. You have to keep your wits about you. You got to keep your head in the game. This one's very common for basketball. You can, if you see the High School Musical, you'll see that, something like that. This one on a scale of 1 to 10 is probably just a 3. I've heard it. Not some people don't say it. I doubt Andrea says it. I'll ask her. Thinking straight or think straight, both. Hey, you need to be thinking straight when you're in that cockpit. Yeah, me too. You need to be thinking straight when you're using PowerPoint. This is a summary I wanted to talk about. This is the case we talked about today, and just for simple, general English, how to explain this. This is at Chicago. It's a few years ago. There are intersecting runways. Go-Bo-Sun does not like intersecting runways. He said this, And there was United. They asked if it were okay to get on the runway, and they said they needed a few minutes. Really, it's not a good idea to be on the runway for a long time like that. One aircraft passes by, another aircraft is on final, but the controllers, I think, were on different frequencies for this case. Correct me if I'm wrong. But, a few things. We just watched Jim's first thoughts or initial thoughts on things like this, and maybe, that's a pretty long final here. He could have asked for a wind check. He could have helped the controller remember, because they're people too. And maybe it was quiet at night and people just kind of forget what's going on. But again, really, 2 minutes on an active runway is kind of a long time. So it's too easy just to blame the controller sometimes. Anyway, that's the summary there. Oh, look what I practiced, because I didn't write this correctly in class. So look, to write it 10 times, I'm going to say it 10 times, and then I need an opportunity to say this, and it'll probably come out. All right?